Audience analysis, a crucial and critical practice for public speaking. To truly understand your audience, and in this way, craft meaningful messages, speakers must be cognizant of who they're speaking to. Audience analysis means understanding audience demographics, their knowledge or skill level about your topic, their attitudes and opinions about said topic, and even their expectations when it comes to what makes for a good speaker. Analyzing these factors will help you tailor your speech in important ways for maximum impact, whether it be the language you use, your delivery style, the enhancements, etc. Each audience is unique and composed of diverse members. Yes, we have many similarities, common emotions, or even life experiences. These are often referred to as universal themes in the public speaking context. Take love, for instance. If I ask my little one to tell me about love, they might describe a perfect brownie sundae, building a pillow fort, or chasing their brother around. A testament to my parenting, perhaps. But ask a teenager, which I would be far too afraid to do, or an adult, and the experience of love is altogether different. Job security might come up, dental benefits, if you ask me, a lifelong commitment. You get the point. As public speakers, we make strategic choices regarding our speech content depending on who we're speaking to and the themes we wish to engage. Imagine, for example, you were asked to give a speech about public sex education to a room full of private school parents. That same topic might need tailoring for an audience of medical doctors, teenagers, religious elites, political figures, etc. So how do we get to know our audience? Well, there are a few key factors to conducting audience analysis, and not all of them will be accessible to us as speakers every time that we do a speech. First, a definition. Audience analysis is the practice of gathering demographic, cultural, and conceptual data from and or about your audience to best prepare your speech with them in mind. So here's how. First, we can conduct demographic analyses, and that includes looking for information about the following. Age. How does the age of the audience members influence their attention spans, their communication style, the understanding of your topic? Are there kids in the audience, seasoned folks, millennials? Gender. Being mindful of gender-related perspectives and sensitivities will allow speakers to create more inclusive messaging overall. Nuanced vocabulary showcases care and attention to detail. Heteronormative language privileges or normalizes heterosexuality, while male-centric language makes men the prototype of any exemplar. For example, bosses. Therefore, when speakers engage in this type of language, they do so at the risk of excluding certain audience members. Education level. Have you ever been spoken at, down to, or over, limited because of your experience or time on the job? Adjusting one's language and depth of explanation based on one's perceived education level can be a slippery slope. Still, understanding the educational experiences of a group can be helpful in creating community and coming up with shared examples in your speech for the audience to relate to. In addition, using industry jargon among non-industry personnel or slang where visiting folks, such as international students, might be present, puts them at risk of being unaware and missing out on colloquial vernacular. Occupations. Professional contexts are important when speaking to a group. Knowing how your topic relates and applies to a work setting can help speakers create meaningful connections to practitioners. Cultural background, wisdom, and heritage. Being aware of the cultural differences, including religion, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, and other relevant cultural characteristics, can prepare a speaker with appropriate knowledge to avoid stereotypes. It goes without saying that racist language, ethnic slurs and epithets, or prejudiced vocabulary is unacceptable, alongside many of the other isms. Speakers need to be aware of ethnocentric language, which is language that positions one's own cultural identity as superior. The second method of gathering data is called psychographic analysis. Here, speakers try to get information about the audience's values and beliefs. Identifying core values and beliefs that might influence the audience receptiveness to a particular topic or message helps speakers make mindful word choices. We can also get information about audience attitudes. What pre-existing attitudes does the audience hold about a topic? Are they closed or open-minded to certain ideas? Is the topic popular or taboo? While these questions might sound silly or even challenging to answer, they will help prepare speakers to adjust their approach accordingly and select audience engagement techniques that are welcoming. What about the audience interest and motivation? It's important to ask if the audience would even be interested in a particular topic. Does it resonate with them? Are they already experts? Does it apply to their life and carry meaning? Finally, we want to conduct situational analysis, and that means taking a look at the space, knowing the size of the audience, which might affect the visual aids or presentation enhancers that you use, the stage or mic use and seating arrangements. It means understanding the physical environment that you'll be in, such as the room size, layout, props, technology that's available, whether or not you'll be inside or outside, if the room has an echo. And what about time constraints? Are you employed as a lunch and learn speaker and have 20 minutes, or only allotted a 4 to 6 minute time space for a classroom presentation? So now that we've covered 3 types of audience analysis, let's learn more about the methods by how this information is obtained. The first is inference. Good old guesses and assumptions. While risky, there's something to be said about using your very best judgment and observational data to maximize your presentation effectiveness. The second is through empirical data collection, like a poll or a questionnaire. Given proper time and resources, speakers can give out surveys prior to their speech date and get lots of really great information about who will be in the crowd. Interacting with your audience firsthand is a third method. This might be through informal conversations, Q&A sessions, sitting with them in interviews. Maybe you've even seen stand-up comedians employ this technique live, on stage. Finally, good old research, doing your homework. The internet is a powerful data source when it comes to learning statistical data, social media trends and patterns, and cultural information about certain populations. Event coordinators, teachers, and even PR personnel have lots of insight about who will be in attendance when you're giving a presentation. So don't be afraid to ask. In short, always err on the side of mindfulness and respect when it comes to preparing a speech. Who knows who could be in the audience? Maybe a child squeaks in, or maybe your future boss could be sitting in the crowd. If you're anything like me, the list of audience analysis to-dos feels quite overwhelming and time-consuming. Still, it is the speaker's ethical responsibility to deliver a mindful presentation that does not offend, exclude, or disrespect others. We all want our speeches to be memorable, but for the right reasons, by making a lasting impact and highlighting our similarities with respect to our differences.